right, back to it. So I was working through this PR, and this seems fine. It's a little... I guess the question is, right, instead of doing this whole signal thing, would it not be better when we need the camera to simply ask scene references for the camera? Let's take a look at this. Okay, so first of all, just go ahead and resolve these conversations. And let us get on this branch. And so files in question that were touched were enemy spawner and minimap and off-screen indicator. Are the things that are using scene references. Okay, enemy spawner. So register. Wait, no. This is a provider of the reference, not a consumer of it. So I guess just minimap and off-screen indicator. So minimap, I think, has been broken for quite a while, so should probably fix it at some point. So how does it use camera? Okay, we have some kind of check here when we go into update minimap, and then inside a draw camera viewport, and on minimap clicked. I don't know about this, but okay, and then enemy spawner. Okay, so first of all, I think this is unnecessary, like to have that check there, because in these functions that update minimap calls, it already checks those things. And then instead of doing all of this, right, we get rid of this. We get rid of find game components. Get rid of all of this. And then we get rid of these. Yep. And then when we need the camera, we simply say var camera. Okay. Okay. Right, because all get camera does is that, well, we already have, like, it's literally just, it's not looking up anything, it's already saved, so why, it's not, there's no performance penalty, right? And just calling this method on this object, or very little. As always, you know, takes some time. We can also fix our indentation. Are we doing 2 or 4 spaces? We're doing 2 spaces. Okay, so let's do that right. Okay, and then, yep, there we go. And this goes away, and yeah, we've like saved a dozen plus lines of code that didn't need to be there. To do, enable timer once we are ready to use the minimap. Yeah. I believe I have something on the backlog about fixing the minimap, because I think that's the thing that I want, but it's fine. Okay, so The other one was off-screen indicator. This one is actually used. So we're going to do something very similar here. We're going to be like, well, let's check something first. So we have camera and enemy spawner. What do we actually... So update indicator does need the camera. And that's it. So we get rid of this. Okay. No scene references. There we go. Okay. What is enemy spawner? Okay, we do use enemy spawner here. Let's do this. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of these. Get rid of this. I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna get rid of this whole method. Var. Yep, there we go. That's much simpler. Shall we test it? I mean, strange concept, I know, but see if it actually works. Borrow this for a second. Put that up there. Okay, so run the game. Let's do our test level, and we zoom in. Yeah, we have off-screen indicator. See it right there? Does seem to work. Great. Ship it. All right, we merged something. Hooray. All right, so what about fixed wave spawn timers continuing during a pause? So what have we seen happen here? You're correct. So now it tests things. Test actual pause behavior by calling getTree.paused. Does it? Does it really? Replace magic numbers with constants? Okay, that's... Congratulations. And maybe unnecessary. Update test section comment for clarity. Okay. Simplify spawn interval configuration and test. Really? It's not a simplification. You remove the comment? Address code review feedback. Okay, so here's a question. If we go back to files changed, what did it change to actually detect the tests failing or not? So we... don't believe you. Okay, and then run test. Do you change something? Okay. Sure. Okay, so that will, because I just merged changes into this, that will cause the test to run, and we will see. I anticipate the test will still be failing or hanging or something, and yep. Error. Okay. Great. The tests are failing to successfully start, and the workflow still doesn't detect this. So we'll give this one more try, and I think at that point it will be time to dig into that ourselves, because that is not great. But for now, what are we doing? Let's get back to this PR, which we have some wonderful conflicts that we will need to fix. So keep on changing things. Skip origin main. And let us rebase. Okay, enemy spawner. So we added some checks here in this PR, but we, okay. Detect node is right, and we just get rid of this, and then this. Is that the only conflict? Yay, all right, it's not bad. Sure. Okay, merge changes. It's weird. Merge changes. Stage changes. Oh, we deleted the file. Delete file. Yep. Okay, and then okay, so we're gonna take current change. Oh, I see. This is because we added this logger. So let's do this, and then current change. Oops, didn't include the indentation. And then okay, we can remove these and then take incoming change. Except now we do, yep, scene references get enemy spawner. And we say var enemy spawner. Do we need to do this? Clear active indicators? I don't think so. So I think, well, yeah. So, we don't need to do this. We only need to do this. Okay. Great. So what have we done so far? I know that we removed the world boundary. We added a muscle car into the scene. We added some checks for the spawn area, so if the array is empty, we give a warning about that. We recognize the fact that the thing that we spawn might not be a node 3D, so we return a variant for the enemy spawner. We emit some signals in the wave spawner wave system. We do some additional handling around when the scenario starts to make sure the off-screen indicator is working correctly. Some kind of like bug fixes and tweaks and stuff incorporated in this. We tweaked the basic zombie a bit. I'm assuming these things were removed because they're the default values, and so we don't specify it in the resource file anymore. We added our desert environment. We updated some documentation because we removed the ground, the actual visible world boundaries. Some more things around scenario loading in the main scene. Fix the UID. Remove things we didn't need. Set the camera max size so that controls how far we can zoom out. And then a bunch of changes that we deleted scenario 1 and it became, and we right, so we moved scenario 1 to be scenario a bridge too far. Also TOO probably is what this should be, not TO. A bridge too far is a bit different than a bridge too far. It's a good movie. All right. Anyway, so I think, yep, reload. Let's properly reload just to make sure this is all good. Okay. A UID needed to be fixed. That's great. So we run the game now. I dislike the flashing, but start game, car defense, play. Ooh, so yellow, so bright. So I guess the car has 1,000 hit points. Kind of ambiguous what's going on there. Why if I am confused. Actually. Okay, that's clear.
Why me?
Why?
Oh no. Oh no. Help.
Hold on. Settings. Oh, this free scrap button is kind of annoying. Turn down SFX.
Oh no. Help.
We can, of course, attack the zombie. 50 clicks later, the zombie will be defeated. Let's see. We have a turret that we can't place. Okay. The achievement sound is a little weird. The particle effects on the turret are kind of weird. It's all a little weird. Also, the lighting with the turret is kind of weird. the preview also kind of weird? Are we... Is the whole world a little too low? Okay. Interesting. Let's take a look at what's going on here. So I'll, there we go. Let's see. Scenario 1. So I think this plane is on the plane. It's on 0y, which suggests that other things aren't. So we should probably fix those other things, right? Turret. Basic turret.tscn is our scene. Yeah. So, okay, Control A does not select everything. Can we just move you up so that you're sitting on Y0? How much are you gonna hate me for doing this? Okay, so we run the game now. Get some free scrap. New fellow who does. Hey. Trying to remember what I said I was gonna call you last time, but Taito? How would you like to be addressed? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Okay, so what do we think? We look to be floating. It's not great. Can we add... Okay, I guess we don't have other tech unlocked. Didn't I have a... So achievements, sure, we have achievements. Although, click happy, click 5 times. I think we've clicked more than 5 times. But yeah, how's it going? Tie. I'd like to be addressed as Your Majesty, Lord God of Duality, the Emperor of Pockets. Okay. It's a little bit long to say. So the middle mouse like click and drag to navigate around is a little unwieldy. Well, we do have WASD or equivalent here as well. Yay, we did it. Your Highness will do. Sure. So what determines the placement of the turret in the world? Let's stick that down there for a minute. What does determine the placement of the turret? So how are we placing things? Oh. Let's just end the game. We don't need to hear the background music going over and over again. Still waiting for Steam frame. Oh yeah, so I can code from bed laying down. Yes. I on my Quest 3, one of the things that was in the whatever it's called, marketplace or whatever, was actually Godot. You can like install it, and I never did anything with it, but it exists. I don't know that I want to even try. But Steam Frame is a thing, right? Is it Steam Frame? Steam Frame? Ah, it is a thing. This thing? Is this a new product? I know nothing. Did we talk about this last time? Yeah, that thing. Quest 3 powerful enough to do basic Godot test run? I don't know, honestly. I launched it, but I didn't do anything with it. Mainly I've used the Quest 3 for Beat Saber. Although when I did that, actually I have Beat Saber on Steam, and at least when I was running Windows, I could use the Steam games from the Quest 3. But I've not gotten that to work with Steam on Linux onto it, so I may have to just buy Beat Saber again. Or maybe I should just buy this. Is this for sale, or is this a future product? The fact that there's not a buy now button suggests it is a future product coming soon. The fact that it doesn't say when is not a good sign. Yeah, Steam time soon. Yeah, okay. Okay, so how does placement of objects work? I don't suppose they have something called placement. Obstacle placement.gd. There we go. How do you work? Okay, so we have obstacle placement. It is a utility, but it's a Node 3D. It is... So is that in the scene tree? Like if we look at the main scene, maybe? Obstacle placement? That's what I'm looking for. Obstacle placement. So this is the node for that GD file I just had open. So how does this work? We must have a thing to... Oh, right. No. So yeah, something happens because we have our hotbar, and that sends an event of some kind. Something. What is this? I can't believe you could understand your own code. I usually read everything every time because I'm always in a transwell coding, and it's Mobius macaroni. Yeah. I think the first many years of coding, it's like it's a challenge. Unfortunately, I think that writing code and reading code are kind of like, well, they're not one skill. There's a bunch of skills. There's a bunch of different skills that you use when you're writing code, and there's a bunch of skills, and maybe there's a Venn diagram and there's overlap, right? Definitely. But there's different things you're doing when you're reading code versus writing code. And it's hard to kind of articulate what exactly those things all are. What are the strategies? How do you go about reading code? But it's definitely not something, if you're focused on writing code, that doesn't make you good at reading code, and that becomes a problem. It's why I think there's a lot of stories about, oh, we'll just rewrite it and it'll be better, and it never is, right? Because it's not about how the code isn't the problem, it's our ability to understand. I think that's also a thing with like a lot of AI coding is that it using AI to generate stuff, you still got to read it and you have to understand it. And if you can't do that, or if that's hard for you to do, especially if that's harder for you to write the code, then you're not going to see the value in doing it. But anyway, that aside, place obstacle is a method. What are the methods? You know, we have a handy little thing called outline. We can see what all the things are. So we have a signal for placement mode entered. Emitted when entering object placement mode. So this is probably what gets emitted when we are placing. Okay, so we have a method called onObstacleSpawn requested, where we get an obstacle type. So this is probably the entry point in this area of the code where we're like, hey, you need to allow the player to place a thing in the world, right? So if we're busy, cancel what we're doing, and then place the obstacle type is the obstacle type preview. So we instantiate the obstacle type, and we have this preview, and we add the child to the scene. So when we instantiate this, add the child parent node. Okay, so I don't think this controls the position. There's something else that changes the position of the preview, and that's probably in response to input. So we have process, so we can rotate the preview. In physics process, we will set the global position of the preview to be collision point plus x, y, z. So height offset to put bottom of mesh at ground level. So if we set that to 0, I wonder what that does. Now, what did you say? I once failed to make a thing run because I typed the variable name wrong. Took your friend 15 minutes to find it. Sure. Yeah, typos. So there are lots of things, right? If you're using a language where I mean, variables are a thing where it's not even, I don't think that's so much a language thing, although I remember back long ago doing PHP, right? In which there's no, at the time anyway, it's a long time ago, no namespaces, right? Everything is just like all the functions for all the libraries, everything is in one namespace. You don't know what all the things are, right? And if you type the wrong thing, maybe it just doesn't work, or maybe you called the wrong thing because there's something else that's already called that, right? Point being that, like, this is a bad example, right? So I'm getting a warning here, but if I were to refer to a variable that doesn't exist, be like, you know, var, I'll be like, hey, there's some method called x, right? Well, function x is not found, right? That is not something you would ignore. Not just typo, you didn't have a format guideline and just do random capital letter and underscore. Sure. It's probably not helpful, right? I think, like, even this is okay. Like, these could be more specific. So, like, raycast length as a variable. So the comment here tells you what it really is. It's the length of the raycast for obstacle placement. Now, you can kind of infer that because it's like an export on obstacle placement, but I don't think there's anything wrong with variables like obstacle detection raycast, right? That being said, you know, if you're slapping something together, you can call it X, you can call it Y, or whatever. The thing is having the tooling to be able to tell you, oh, that variable doesn't exist. Finding all the places where a variable is being referred to. finding, being able to do like, oh, I don't like this name preview. Let me rename it. I'll rename it something else. And then it will find all the places to refer to and rename it, right? So having the tooling to be able to do things like that is really nice. Yeah, the IDE didn't have autocomplete or safeguards, right? And it doesn't have to be an IDE. You can have like other tooling, something. Just having something that's telling you, like, this variable doesn't exist. And then things like having types, right? Being like, this variable is a float. So if I try to do string concatenation, or if I try to call a method that doesn't exist on it, I'll get an error. Is very helpful, and a thing that used to not be a thing. So isn't that nice? Okay, so what we're trying to understand is placement of objects in the world, right? So this looks fine. I think the key thing is that all of our models need to be oriented so that the bottom of them are at y0, and then the logic that we are doing becomes simpler. Now, I don't know what's going on with the lighting here. And clearly something's going on with the overlay that shows the preview of the range of the turret, because that's not right either. But I think that I'm pretty on board with the idea of just changing this so that instead of worrying about bounds, so height offset is just 0. So hey, guess what? That means that the global position of the preview should be the collision point. This assumes that all obstacles models are centered such that their base is at y0. That's what I want to capture, right? That idea of how we should be setting up all the different obstacles. That means that all of our obstacles are wrong. So let's look at that. So that's entities, obstacles. So we've already done the basic turret. We need to figure out lighting. That's the next thing, is why is the lighting off for the basic turret? But we'll come back to that. Attack speed beacon. That's good. We did that one right. Crates. Could be higher. That's better. It's still a little low, right? Yeah, there we go. Electric fence. Okay, seems fine. Overcharger. Some of these are more placeholder models than others. Okay, there you go. Range amplifier. Looks good. Spike barricade. Looks good. You have a project I want to make, but I just don't have a good time to start it yet. Maybe eventually though, or something, I don't know. All you need is just to start now, but you're never in the right mood, headspace, feel ready to start it. Yes. A lot of those things. Here's some general advice that I've heard a few times in the past, which is like, find 5 minutes. Just like 5 minutes. Do something, anything, even if it's just jotting down an idea on a piece of paper, in a text file, whatever. Make like a Git repo or something. Do something that'll take you 5 minutes to just make a little bit of progress. And then the next time you think about it, do that again and do that again. And eventually you'll find that you start, you know, if you have a place to start, right? If you, and it could be literally make a text file, call it the name of the project. What do you want the project to do? What do you hope to accomplish with it? Or what are some ideas for it? What do you want it to not be? Anything. Just write it down. That's the start, right? And then you've started. That's, you know, advice I've heard in the past, and I think it's true, that if, yeah, like, a thing not to do would be the, like, okay, well, I want to start a project, but I need, you know, what is the thing that's keeping you from, you know, if it's like, oh, well, I'm going to need several hours to make progress on the project. Well, what can you do in 5 minutes, right? What can you do in between things, and just do a little something. And I think it is, I'll take the reverse side of the thing, right? Which is that it's often good to be looking at how you can make measurable progress on things, so you get that boost of like, oh, I completed a thing, I did a thing, right? But that, you can't let that stop you from starting, because you will never get there if you never start. You need a new mouse and keyboard and monitor and PC and shiny toy, yeah, and all those things. They would help, right? They would help. But do you have to have them? Do you need a computer at all to start on it? Like, is a start just talking about your project in a Twitch chat somewhere? Is it writing down like a design doc, or even the first sentence of that? Is it talking to someone about it? Is it you know, sketching out something more literally? I don't know. I don't know what the project is, right? And to some extent, I don't think it matters to the idea of just like doing a little something. I think one thing that can happen is that you can, and this is something I feel like I've experienced before, of like, oh, I have this idea for a project, but not actually do anything with it, even like starting to like talk it out. That's one thing. Tangent. One thing I like about using something like ChatGPT or AI is not so much to get its opinion about things, but to give me kind of like it's like rubber duck programming, where you're like talking through the problem, but I can talk through a project, and I can, like, you know, verbalize things because I have an excuse, because there's this thing, this AI that's, you know, asking me questions, or you know, it's a mirror for the ideas. But without that, you know, if you're just like, I have this idea, so I'll get to it at some point, but you never really spend the time to make it real and start thinking about it and like iterating on it and getting into it, you can build up this. I'm getting to the point that I was trying to make, that you can have an idea of your idea that's like, oh, it's going to be this great thing, and then you get into it and then it just disappoints, right? Because your capacity for imagining how great your idea could be can be way bigger than your ability to deliver anything, especially in the short term, right? It all has to start from ground zero, from nothing, and build up. So might just make a static HTML site and put your idea on as to do something. Sure, yeah, you could do that. GitHub Pages, if you don't even, like, you can do that with just like the free account, right? You can make a repo and then turn on GitHub Pages. That's effectively like, I have a blog, and that's effectively what it is, although I have a custom domain name for it, for sabin.info. And this is just, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in it, right? And there's me on Switch. But it's just sabin.github.com, I think is the repo. Yeah. So in on a repo, you can turn on pages. I forget where that is. It's been a while. Where are the... Oh, there it is. Pages. And so I have a custom domain, but you can just like, I think if I just go to sabin.github.com, it's a, nope. I guess when I have the custom domain, that doesn't work anymore. Anyway, that's an option. If you want, or, you know, upload it to S3. If you have an AWS account, you can host things there, or just not even, I mean, you can make it public. It could just be a file on your computer. Whatever motivates you, right? And you would know that better than me. So we were going through all the models. Okay, and then we have this obstacle scene, that's the base. Buff obstacle extends that. Ranged obstacle extends that. Shooting obstacle extends that. So that's all fine. Scrap is a pile of boxes. That's fine. Targets are not placeable, so it's fine. We don't need to change their origin. Okay, so if I were to run the game, so first of all, I think let's go to the test scenario. And why do I only have a turret? Shouldn't there be a button to access the tech tree? We go. Shouldn't there be a button to access the tech tree? What happened to doing that? I hope your problem isn't with shader, because I hate and he couldn't do a GPU. I just don't understand that. I can only imagine things in linear. Sure. We don't have a lot of shaders right now. I think we have one. Let's see. So we have this dither transparency shader, which does some stuff. That's the thing that gives the pattern, like when you place the turret, it shows the pattern. And to be fair, I think that is a thing that we might need to adjust for the preview. But I don't know that we need to change anything here. I think it's more of the object in the world that has the preview that we need to fix. But yeah, shaders are their own thing that I don't claim any kind of expertise on. This one was Copilot made for me and seems to work. What was I? Oh, right. So where is the... There used to be... Let's see. UI? UIC? There's supposed to be a button for the tech tree. So there's a tech tree overlay, right? But how do we get to that? Pause menu, stats display, FPS, sound effects, debug control, game over menu, victory menu, currency display, speed controls, hotbar, spawn indicator, off-screen indicator, UI. Didn't I... Hold on, let's go back to here. I thought I had merged a PR that was going to do this for us. I wonder if maybe I missed the part where the button would be added. Implement tech tree UI toggle functionality, update game state management. Might have been it. Tech tree. Oh, hey, look, here's the unmerged PR to add a tech tree button. So did we delete stuff in here? What are we changing right here? See, bug control. Okay. Tech tree. In-game menu. Playing. Resuming. On tech tree pressed. Got removed. Hungry-ish but still full and bloated. Yeah. It's too early for lunch over here. My breakfast has been, actually for quite a long time, my breakfast most days is this, I have these fiber bars, so it's like oat and chocolate. It's like 150 calories, and then 2 shots of espresso. And that is a breakfast, most days. And when I say most, I mean literally like every day for the last like several years, excepting like if, you know, order in or go out somewhere for breakfast or something like that, but like 90-95% of the time. And despite that small breakfast, you know, I wake up at 6 a.m. I have breakfast somewhere between 7 and 8, and then lunch at 11:30. Something like that. So it gets me by. So what happened to our tech tree button? So we had a tech tree button. It was a button on the pause menu, and we removed it. Okay, so let's add a button somewhere. Where are we going to add a button? How are we going to add a button? How do we want to do this? So we have these buttons up here. And we have the buttons down here. So we have the hotbar indicator on the bottom. Do we want to have special buttons on the hotbar? How many? Hold on one second. Let's go back to the game here really quick. So we have 6 slots on the hotbar. So we're not really using all this space. I wonder, is it better? Maybe it's better if we make the hotbar just be on the left side, and then we do some stuff on the right with additional buttons. Also, there should probably be a key. Maybe let's do that first. There should be a key to open the tech tree. So toggle sound effects, zoom slow, toggle tech tree is Y. I wonder if that works. It does. Okay. Interesting. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to create a new issue. Okay, good job. Let's go over here. We're gonna there we go. We are going to ask Copilot to write us a new issue. And this is going to be something like what? Can you create a new issue to track a feature request? This will be to use the right-hand portion of the bottom of the screen where the hotbar currently overlaps but is not used for a set of buttons to open things like the tech tree, open to ideas for other buttons that should be in this area, and then the hotbar would exclusively be on the left side of the bottom of the screen, since the 6 slots for the hotbar are already only in this area. Anyway. So the hotbar currently overlaps, was not used, comma. There are setup buttons to open things like... Apparently I speak very dramatically because it's reading like a lot of periods. This is probably just me pausing while I'm thinking. So let's set up on the screen since the 6 slots for the hotbar are already on this area anyway. Yeah. Let's see what it does for us. Anyway, so we can open the text tree, which is what I was trying to do so that we could actually unlock things. Okay. Okay. So now, if I go down here, we can put the wall and the overcharger here. And we can see all of these things working. And not... That's good. So like the line here is on the ground. So notice the range indicator though is above the ground. I mean, technically it probably needs to be a little above the ground, but it shouldn't be so far above the ground. So apparently Twitch wants to run ads, so we're going to take a break here. I'll be back in a couple minutes, and we will continue fixing things and working on things.